Welcome back, guys, to the Homestead Nurse channel. My name is Becky. This is my basil plant. It's growing pretty tall. I haven't trimmed it yet. I actually have a blog post all about basil, trimming it and taking care of it. I'll link those posts down below. But this plant is a little out of control, so I'm gonna go ahead today with you and show you 5 different ways to dry basil. Now, in my blog post, there are 7 different ways, but I'm missing a freeze dryer, which I don't have, and a toaster oven, which I don't have. So I can't show you those because I don't have those. So I'm gonna show you 5 out of the 7. Let's not waste too much time and let's get drying some basil. One of the first ways to dry basil is with your oven. And so depending on the oven you have, depends on the temperature. So the lowest temperature that your oven goes to, you will preheat. So my oven goes 170 is the lowest. So I'm going to preheat my oven for 170 degrees Fahrenheit, and then we will prep the basil to go inside the oven for about 45 to 50 minutes, and then I'll check it maybe about 15-minute intervals to make sure it doesn't burn until it's completely dry and crisp. Now, for drying basil in the oven, I have a sheet pan. If you have parchment paper, put that on top. I don't have any, so I'm just gonna use my pan and take some of these leaves out. But first, before you dry with any method, wash your basil with just water and make sure they just sit dry until there's no more water droplets on the leaves. So I'm just cutting some basil leaves, and I have a video of how to get more basil by trimming it, and I'll link it up here. But for now, I'm just gonna cut big stems of it. Okay, this is all my basil I cut up. I'm going to put some aside for one of the methods. We're going to wash these with just water and dry them on this paper towel. First, we'll pick the leaves off. We got a good amount of basil from just these plants. Okay. Now we're going to wash them. If you have a salad spinner, that would be another great trick to wash and dry them really quickly. I have moved and I don't have mines, but if I did have mines, I would use it. All right, wash these. All right. I just washed them really quickly with some water. I grew this, so I know where it's come from. But if you didn't grow your own basil, I would definitely wash them with water thoroughly. So just kind of spread them out here. Do another paper towel and just kind of pat down to get the excess water out of them on top. They're going to be drying, and I'm going to be placing the rest of some of these leaves on a sheet pan. Just kind of spread them out. Obviously, if you had a bunch, just kind of plop it on and kind of make sure they all have space. All the leaves have space from each other. Alright, so my tray of basil is ready to go. They have dried from us washing it. My temp's at 170. I'm going to go ahead and put these in the oven. Put it on the top here, like that. We're gonna set our timer for Let's do 45 minutes, and then we'll check it. All right, we have about almost 10 minutes left in the oven. Let's check it out. So it's been pretty much 40 minutes. I've got our basil here. Looks like this one's not as dry. Pretty much they're all there, except for just like one of them actually. This one right here is not as dry. So we'll just leave it for the 10 minutes and we'll check back later. So this is our basil at 170 degrees for 45 minutes. And we didn't dry too much of it, just a little handful, and it is completely dry. So that came out pretty good. Now the next method is air drying. So the best way to do that is cut long stems of your basil plant. Obviously, if you're buying basil from the store, you can't do this method because they usually come already with the leaves, or if anything, they're very small, the stems. So if you have a plant, it'll be much easier. And obviously if you let it grow long enough, you'll get them long stems like this. And so pretty much what you do is leave a good 2 to 3 inches from the bottom of the stem and take off the leaves. Like so. This one's a long one. This one is perfect to do air dry. And then the last one, take off the leaves from the bottom. Usually get a good bunch, a handful. Right now I just have 4. And you get any string you have in your house, and you tie it however you tie it, a knot. So you go ahead and get your stems or your bunch of basil, and you get the string. Leave some string so you can hang it, and make a knot. Just tie it like that. You can do once more around if you'd like. If you want 3 knots, 2 knots, depending how big your bunch is. Just kind of, there you go. That doesn't be perfect. You go ahead and you make a knot. Like that. Then you cut the end. Like that. And there you have a bunch of basil. Now if you're going to make a big bunch, try not to suffocate the leaves. They do need some airflow between them so they can dry properly. And I can hang this anywhere in my house, but best to hang it not in direct light, not extreme temperatures like humidity or heat or really windy conditions. Try to put it in a place where you know it'll be safe. Depending where it's at is the time that it will take to dry. Usually between 1 or 2 weeks, your basil will be completely dry. So that is how you hang the basil. Now the next way to dry basil is by an air fryer. Depending on your air fryer, they all come different. They all look different, but this one is the one I have. And so I have my basil leaves right here. The important thing is to make sure that obviously your basil leaves don't burn and that your basil leaves don't start going everywhere in the air fryer and start a fire. I'm sure you will know your air fryer, just keep an eye on it. Mine has a pan like this, so I'm gonna go ahead and just sprinkle the basil. I'm gonna go ahead and put the basil like this in the pan and spread them out nicely. I'm going to put it for 200 degrees. It's been about 10 minutes. See how our basil is doing. I think this is good to go. Alright, so we didn't dry that much basil, but with the amount of basil we had at 200 degrees, in about 10 minutes it dried it completely. So I would think that if you had more basil, do the whole 25 minutes. Now the next method we're going to try is in the microwave. You can put it on a plate if you like, but I'm put on a paper towel my basil leaves and put a paper towel on top and put it in the microwave for a minute. So I have my basil leaves on my towel. I'm going to do it for 1 minute. Alright, another minute in our microwave is done. See how it's doing. The basil definitely has its color still, very green, and we can crumble it in our hands. So this is perfect. This is what we're looking for, that the basil, as soon as you even touch it a little bit, it crumbles. And you can just get a good amount of it. It just crumbles right up. Perfect. 2 minutes in the microwave. So this is our basil from the microwave. And it looks pretty good. The color looks great. And it's really dry to the point where there's no water in this basil. And we can crumble it very well. Very easy in the microwave. Alright, the next way is in a dehydrator. So most dehydrators come with a mesh. This is what my dehydrator came with. Go ahead and place all of our basil on here. Spread them out. So I have the Magic Mill dehydrator. I actually have a review on this. I'll link that below if anybody's interested or looking for a dehydrator. So we're going to go ahead and place these inside the dehydrator. Put that in there. And just slide this here. We want it on a mesh or something solid like this, just in case it doesn't drip down or it doesn't crumble down below. Put the basil in there. We're going to put it to the lowest setting that your dehydrator goes. It's going to be 95 for me. I'm going to put 2 hours. Usually between 2 to 4 hours. We're going to try 2 hours because I don't have that much basil. So we're going to go ahead and set it for 95 degrees for 2 hours in the dehydrator. So it seems like we need another 2 hours because it's 34 minutes and it's still pretty green. So we're going to up it. 2 hours. Okay, so this is how the microwave looks. Oven. Air fryer. And the dehydrator is still going. I put it for 6 hours and 30 minutes on 95. We did 95 for 4 hours and still no drying. So This is a work in progress. The basil in the dehydrator took about 14 hours at 95 degrees. And there you go, 5 ways to dry basil. Hope you guys like this video. If you haven't subscribed, please do, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.